Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. I genuinely appreciate you just spending a few minutes of your day here watching one of my videos. I know there are so many videos on YouTube, so it means so much that you guys would just click on one of mine and hang out with me. Today I wanted to share my top 3 makeup products in every category. I'm so excited about today's video because I get to just talk about all of my favorite products, like my absolute favorites that I reach for every single day. I did this video last year. It was kind of floating around as a tag, I think, and I wanted to do an updated version because a lot of my answers have changed. I've tried so many good products over the past year, and I think that I've discovered a lot of products that have become new staples. You know it's a good product when it replaces something that you used to use for like years and years, and I feel like that's happened in a few of these categories. So I can't wait to share the products with you. I do have a mix of drugstore and high-end products. I honestly just chose like my 3 go-to products in each category. So I'll link everything in the description box below in case you guys want to try anything out for yourself. But let's jump into it and start going through the products. So kicking it off with primers, I actually do have all drugstore and affordable primers to share with you in today's video. My first favorite is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I love this so much. I actually just used up an entire bottle of it, and I had to repurchase it because it has become an absolute staple in my daily makeup routine. This primer locks my makeup into place so well, and I originally tried it back in the winter time because I think they launched it in January. But heading into the spring and then now, we're in the middle of summer, it's been such a favorite because it really does extend the wear of my foundation, even on super hot, humid days. But the reason why I also like it in the winter time is because it is more of a hydrating base. So it really combines everything that I'm typically looking for in a primer. Although in the past, I've really loved mattifying primers, and I do have some mattifying options to share with you. But I find that because this one truly locks my foundation into place, it doesn't necessarily have to be mattifying, even though I have oily skin. There's another primer from e.l.f. I love. It's the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I use this one all the time as well. This one is perfect because it mattifies my oily skin and it keeps it matte throughout the day. But on top of that, it also creates just a nice, smooth, even texture on my skin. I deal with a lot of breakouts, a lot of texture, so when I feel like my skin is extra oily and I just want like a nice smooth base before I go in with foundation, this product is perfect. And the last primer I wanted to share in today's video is the Catrice Prime and Fine Keep Me Matte Primer. So again, this is another really nice mattifying version, but it's not quite as mattifying as the e.l.f. primer. It's a little bit more smoothing than the e.l.f. primer, but it also doesn't have like a slippery feel to it. I think some people don't like the poreless putty primers because they say their foundation kind of tends to almost slip off the product because it can create more of like a slick, slippery base. I don't find that's typically an issue with the matte version, but if you've had that experience with the poreless putty primers in general, you might like this one because again, it does kind of smooth out the skin, but also keep it matte throughout the day without giving your skin a super dry look and feel. These have been my go-to foundations for a while at this point. So the one that I've loved the longest is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. I have heard from people who have all different skin types who say they enjoy this. Dry skin, combo skin, oily skin. It really is such a gorgeous formula. It definitely has more of a glowy base, but it also stays in place really well. If you have oily skin, you don't have to just wear matte foundations. These days, brands make hydrating foundations that will last well on oily skin, and this is definitely one of them. This is more of a medium coverage foundation. I think the name is perfect because it definitely gives your skin like this glowy, fresh look. And if you don't set it, you're left with, a natural radiance. If you do set it, I find that that glow kind of comes through after an hour or two, and it just wears really nicely throughout the day. I'll even wear this in the summertime because as the day goes on, I almost feel like it looks more natural on the skin, and it really is just a gorgeous product. I also love the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation. This one is more of my go-to these days because it's very, very long wearing. When I do my makeup in the morning, I really don't want to touch it up if I don't have to. I don't even usually take the time to apply more powder throughout the day. Sometimes I will, but for the most part, I like to do my makeup in the morning and not touch it until the end of the night because I feel like I just don't want to mess with it any more than I have to. And this product does wear so well on the skin. I also like this because it is more of a customizable formula, so you can go in with a little bit and really sheer it out, or you can build it up and get more of a full coverage look. Typically, I'll just go in with like something in between and create more of a medium coverage look. But again, because it's so long wearing, it stays in place so well. And I do find that this has more of a skin-like appearance to it. The third one I wanted to share with you guys is this one from Pure. I tried this a few years ago and I've consistently had it in my collection ever since because it really is so nice. It's the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Longwear Foundation and Concealer. I'm currently wearing the shade LG3. I don't know if I said the other shade names. I'll make sure to put the shades of everything that I feature or everything that I wear in the description box. But again, this is just a good staple formula. You can sheer it out, but for the most part, I feel like I do get like a true medium to full coverage look with this product. It's a little bit thinner than the Catrice foundation, so I find that it does blend out a little bit easier, but it looks really nice on the skin. It definitely gives you like a smooth, even appearance. It's long wearing. It's just a really good staple option. I also like mixing this in with foundations that have lighter coverage when I want more of a full coverage look, but I don't want to use, you know, a true full coverage foundation. Okay, let's talk about powder. I love trying new powders. Powder is one of my favorite makeup categories, and I think it can be a little bit boring for a lot of people, and some people think all powders look the same and they do the same thing on the skin, but I feel like there are so many different textures, there are different coverage levels, there are different finishes, so I love seeing what's out there. And I actually don't think any of these three powders were in my last video that I did like this, so they're all somewhat newer favorites, but I love them. I think I've hit pan on every single one of them and already repurchased them at this point. So what should I start with? Let me go in terms of coverage. So the lightest coverage powder that I'm going to share in today's video is this one from LYS Beauty. It is the Triple Fix Translucent Setting Powder. This is going to be the powder for those of you that don't love powder. If you're someone who feels like whenever you apply powder, it looks powdery on the skin, then this is such a great option. It is super light, really, really finely milled. So it does set your makeup, but it doesn't necessarily look like you're wearing a powder. I love using this one to set my under eye concealer. I feel like as I get older and I have more fine lines under my eyes, sometimes using like a heavy powder under the eyes makes them look super dry and it enhances those fine lines or any texture. Because this is so lightweight, it doesn't really do any of that, but it also locks your concealer into place pretty well. So I'll use it that way. I'll also use it as like an all over finishing powder. If I apply too much blush or bronzer, I'll use this to kind of buff it out. It really is just such a staple and I already repurchased it. The second powder I wanted to share is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. I love this product so much. I think if you have oily skin, you're going to enjoy this. If you have dry skin, I would probably stay away from it because this one does have a tendency to look a little bit powdery on the skin if you go in with too much. But I do find that it has a really smooth texture. So if you use this to set your foundation, not only does it lock your foundation into place really well, it almost smooths over any of those areas. So you get kind of like an airbrushed look, which I personally love because again, I do deal with a lot of texture. I will use this one under my eyes as well, but again, it does provide a little bit of coverage. So sometimes if you're using like a full coverage concealer and then this product, it can look a little heavy. My favorite powder foundation is this one from e.l.f. This is so good. I have tried so many powder foundations at this point, and after trying this one, I honestly don't even want to use any of the other ones I've tried. Now, if you guys have tried this and you feel like it looks a little bit too heavy on the skin, because I have heard that from some different people, try using a damp beauty sponge. These do come with a sponge in them, and I think that's great for touch-ups, and of course you can use that all over your face as well. But if you use a damp beauty sponge, it really almost like presses the powder into the skin and just creates more of a natural finish, but you still get really good coverage. My go-to concealer for years at this point has been the Too Faced Born This Way. I don't use this one quite as much because I have discovered a lot of other concealer formulas that I do enjoy, but it is still one of my favorites. I think it works really nicely as a concealer, but also as a foundation, so it's kind of like a two-in-one product. It has a really beautiful satin finish, but it does stay in place really well on oily skin, and I find that sometimes hydrating or satin concealers just make my skin look really oily or they'll break down after a few hours. But I've loved this one for years. I've repurchased it a few different times, and I think it looks really nice. It also has really, really good coverage. Because this has such a smooth, blendable texture, there are days where I'll just skip foundation, apply this product kind of on any areas where I need a little bit of coverage, blend it out, and that's what I'll use as my base product. And it looks so pretty. It looks really naturally radiant, but it's very, very long lasting. So this is still one of my favorites. My go-to concealer right now is kind of similar to that one. When I first tried this product, I didn't like it. And I don't know what happened, but I tried it a few months later and it became an instant favorite of mine. I think this product looks amazing under the eyes. It looks so good in any areas where you're dealing with, again, breakouts or texture, because it has a really smooth texture to it, but it blends out easily. And I think what's nice about this one is it does have a little more coverage, so even as you blend it out, it's not like you feel like you have to go in and layer more of this product up. But because it is really hydrating, it doesn't look heavy on the skin. It really just has the most beautiful glowy finish. The third one I wanted to share with you guys is definitely different from these two. It is the KVD Good Apple Concealer. This one is super full coverage. It's also a lot more mattifying than the other two. This one dries down and stays in place so well, but it's very, very lightweight. And I feel like when it comes to concealers, something that I've really been looking for is a concealer that looks more skin-like, even if it does have a lot of coverage, because again, as I get older, I feel like heavy concealers can really enhance the lines under my eyes, which is really the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. I'm also a fan of spot concealing if I break out or I have like a certain area of my face that needs a little more coverage. Rather than going in and layering up like a ton of foundation, I'd rather spot conceal before I go in with foundation. And this product is perfect for that. It's also great under the eyes because it does last all day long. And I'm just really impressed by it. I know I've talked about it a lot on my channel, but it's still one of my favorites. Okay, let's talk about cheek products. Let's start with bronzer. So I have one powder bronzer and two cream bronzers to share with you guys. So I think I mentioned this one in my video last year. It's the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick, and I have the shade Light. I have tried so many cream bronzers this year, cream cheek products in general. Last year, I don't know that I tried quite as many. I was just slowly getting into them, and this year I have just fallen in love with a ton of cream formulas. It definitely takes me an extra minute or two to make sure that this product is really well blended, but it is super long lasting. It does not move all day long, and like I said earlier, when I do my makeup these days, I don't really want to touch it up halfway throughout the day, and I want my makeup products to last, especially because it is summertime. So when I want to wear cream bronzer and I want it to last all day, this is the one that I reach for. I still need to try the blush or the cream blushes from this line. Now on days when I want more of a natural bronzed appearance, I reach for the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is definitely not as long lasting as the Makeup by Mario one. This has more of that like smooth blendable texture, but it's pretty light, pretty natural. They do have deeper shades. I think I have like the lightest shade or the second to lightest shade. So there are deeper options, but the reason why I like this one is because it is more subtle and it's kind of hard to go overboard. So on days when I don't want my makeup to be too intense, especially like my bronzer and my blush, just my cheek products, this is what I reach for. And then again, maybe like the e.l.f. Putty blushes, but I love this Putty Bronzer so much. So they definitely serve two different purposes. They're not the same at all. You can't, use them in place of each other, but I like the Putty Bronzer for more of an everyday look and the Makeup by Mario when I want my makeup to really last. I would say that I've been using cream bronzer more than powder bronzer, but my go-to powder bronzer is the Flower Beauty Heatwave, and I have the shade Sunrise. I have used this product so much over the last year. It used to have like a really obvious dome on the product, and now it is completely flat. So I think I might actually be able to use this up completely. It will probably still take me a little while because it is more of a baked product. I feel like it's one of those products you can use over and over, and it doesn't look like you've actually touched the product. But I use this one so much. It looks so pretty on the skin. It's definitely a very smooth product. It's not hard to blend out, and you can kind of build this up, surprisingly. In the pan, it definitely has like a very cool toned appearance. On the skin, I find that it's a little bit more rosy toned, which I actually really like because I feel like a lot of bronzers lean very orangey, and while it's not quite as cool toned on the cheeks as it is in the pan, it definitely has like a little bit more of a red undertone overall. So this is without a doubt my favorite powder bronzer. I know I was just talking about how I really love cream cheek products, including cream blushes, but I have powder blushes to share with you, except for this one. This one is like a powder cream duo, so I guess that kind of counts. It's from Patrick Ta. It's the Double Take Cream and Powder Blush, and I have the shade She's So LA. I definitely want to try more shades of this product. I love this so much. I cannot stop using it. The cream and the powder work perfectly together. They look so radiant on the skin, but they're also subtle at the same time. They're not overly glowy. They're not hard to work with. They look so, so beautiful, and there are a bunch of gorgeous shades, so many pretty duos. I honestly couldn't decide which one to try, and if I do grab another one during like the next Sephora VIP sale, I know that I'll have a hard time again because I just love it. It really is one of my staples. This year I also tried the Bare Minerals bronzers, and I have used these so much. This has definitely been my go-to formula of the summer. I use the Patrick Ta a lot, as well as a lot of other blushes in my collection, but these are like the perfect blush if you want like that beautiful sun-kissed look. They're easy to work with, the colors are beautiful, the formula is gorgeous, and they just give your cheeks like this natural glow that you don't typically get when it comes to powdered blush. I totally understand why these are hyped up. I feel like I hyped them up on my channel, but I just love them so much. And then I do have an older favorite to share with you. This is the Buxom Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush. So I love the entire line. I think the formula is so underrated. These last on the skin really, really well. They're also very pigmented. You can build them up to be pretty intense, so that's something I just wanted to mention too. But the shade of Seychelles is my favorite because I think it's just kind of like the perfect blush for my skin tone. I love this formula, but I especially love this shade, and it really is my go-to. Like when I'm not sure what blush goes with my makeup look, I reach for this one, and I feel like it looks good every single time. It's also such a smooth formula that, again, kind of has like a natural luminous glow to it. For highlighter, I actually only have 2 to share with you guys. I didn't want to throw a third one in just for the sake of including it in today's video. I feel like when it comes to highlighter, there are a lot of formulas I like, but not necessarily any that are like top tier level, except for these 2. So the first one is one that I'm glad is still around because I think when I filmed this video last year, Becca had announced they were going out of business, and I wasn't sure that you were going to be able to really get it. So I don't know if I even mentioned it in my video last year, but the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors are still here, and I am so excited because recently some of you guys told me that they brought back other shades. So originally they just had Champagne Pop, but now they also have Opal, they have Moonstone, I think they have Chocolate Geode, and then there's another one that I can't think of. But if you missed out on those or you just wanted to repurchase them, there are additional shades. My personal favorite is still Champagne Pop. This is my #1 highlighter of all time. I love the color, I love the formula. I also love Opal, but that one is a little bit more of like a pearly, kind of like cool tone champagne. Champagne Pop is just so beautiful. There's nothing like it. I've tried so many highlighter formulas out there in hopes that I could find a replacement for this because I thought it was going away, and I just can't find anything that compares. I love the Becca highlighters so, so much. A little bit goes an extremely long way. I don't know if this is my original highlighter. I almost feel like it is, but I also feel like maybe at some point I did repurchase it. I can't remember, to be honest with you guys, but I've hit pan on it. I feel like I never thought in my entire life I could use a highlighter up completely because I'm not someone who wears a ton of highlighter, but I love this one so much. I probably wear it like 90% of the time when I wear highlighter. The other highlighter formula I want to mention is the one that I'm wearing today. I just had it. I don't know what I did with it. I might have left it upstairs when I ran upstairs before this video, but Flower Beauty makes a highlighter palette that is so gorgeous. I think I've loved it just as long as the Becca highlighter. In fact, I feel like that formula comes the closest to the Becca formula. They actually have 2 different options. I have the lighter trio, but they also have a deeper trio as well. And I like this formula so much because it's incredibly lightweight, but super shiny, really, really pretty on the skin. And I like the palette because you can mix the shades together, or you do have 3 different options for I think like $14. So definitely a great choice too. Okay, let's talk about eye products and brow products. Let me do brow products first. So I just chose 3 brow products instead of doing 3 brow gels, 3 brow pencils. I really just wanted to share my top 3 go-to brow products. So the first one is one that I've loved for years. It's the Urban Decay Brow Blade. I don't even know how many I've gotten through because this is my staple brow pencil. It comes with a brow pencil on one side, and honestly at this point, well, I don't know. I was going to say if they just sold the brow pencil, that's probably what I would buy, but I also love the other side. This is the ink stain side. I will say I found some good alternatives at this point for both sides of this. NYX makes a great brow pen. Milani does too. I also love the NYX brow pencil, but I feel like this is my perfect shade match. I like that it doesn't have any red to it. A lot of like dark brown brow pencils are very red toned, and I just don't like the way that looks on my brows. So it's partly because it is the perfect shade match, partly because it is a dual-ended pencil, so you get both sides in one, and I love it. It stays in place extremely well, and it really is my go-to. And then I wanted to share 2 brow gels with you as well. So the first one is from NYX. I love this. I think it's going to be like my all-time favorite brow gel. It did replace the e.l.f. one for me. The e.l.f. Wow Brow is still a staple of mine, but the NYX Thick It Stick It is just a little bit better. The reason why I like this one a little bit better is because it definitely creates more definition. The e.l.f. Wow Brow is probably a little bit more natural on the brows, and this one is pretty intense. You can layer this up and get a super full appearance. It also locks your brows into place all day long. Like, you could probably fall asleep with this product, wake up the next day, and still be good to go. One thing about me is that I never sleep in my makeup, and it's not because, you know, there aren't days where I'm lazy and I don't feel like washing my face. I just hate the feeling of how my face feels if I wake up the next day and I slept in my makeup. I guess I don't want to say never. Probably like once a year I'll do it, and I hate it so much that for the rest of the year I make sure to wash my face every single night. So typically I don't fall asleep with my brow gel in place, but if I did, I'm certain my brows would still look so good in the morning with this product. And the other product is the Kosas Air Brow. I love this so much. I think that this one is more ideal if you have really sparse brows and you really want to add a lot of color to them, but you don't necessarily need something as long lasting as the NYX Thick It Stick It. This one also has a really nice, like, light, airy, moussey texture. So it's not necessarily quite as long lasting, but I think it makes a difference because it has so much pigment to it. So I love this one so much. So before I do eyeliner and mascara, let me do eyeshadow palettes. I wanted to narrow it down to my top 3 palettes, at least right now. I feel like this could always change, but one product that has really remained consistently a favorite of mine is the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. I just love this palette so much. I think it is so beautiful. Every time I open it up, it just makes me happy. I love the golds, I love the copper shades, and whenever I use this palette, without fail, I get such a pretty look, such a well-blended, seamless look. And I think that's part of the reason why not everyone necessarily loves this, because typically when you do use it, the looks end up looking kind of similar. There's not necessarily a ton of variation within this palette, but I feel like there's enough. Like, if you're an eyeshadow palette lover, then you'll totally see the differences between all of the shimmers. But if you're someone who doesn't necessarily feel the need to have 5 or 6 different gold shimmers in one palette, then this probably isn't the most ideal option for you. But I love it. If you love warm toned eyeshadow, this is such a good option. I know I talk about it all the time, but it consistently remains one of my top palettes. This is actually my number 1 palette. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's been my favorite ever since they launched it. This year, I did try the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2, and this is such a gorgeous palette. I have worn this a ton. It's probably my most worn palette of 2022. It's so beautiful. I have it on my eyes today, and I do have a shimmer from another palette that I'm going to mention, but you guys, it's so gorgeous. I like this better than the original one. If they had launched this one and the original one at the same time, I would have gone with this one. I don't really wear the original one as much as this one. This one just has like the perfect rosy toned hue to it. I love a good rosy toned palette, and it's so pretty. The formula is beautiful. The shimmers are amazing. The mattes are blendable, pigmented, rich. I don't have anything bad to say about this. The shimmer that I'm wearing on my eyes today is from the Flower Beauty Desert Lights palette. This is one of the best shimmer formulas I've ever tried. These look like liquid metal on the eyes. This is such an underrated favorite, and I actually picked it up. You guys made me buy this because I was kind of debating, like, back and forth on whether or not I wanted to try it, and I think in a video where I mentioned it, I got like probably 100 comments saying that you guys love this formula so much. I totally understand why. It is so beautiful. It really just adds to whatever look I'm doing. If you're someone who just feels like you need a rich, intense shimmer formula to complement your other palettes, go with this one. They also have the Jungle Lights palette. That one's gorgeous too, but I definitely wear the shades in Desert Lights a little bit more. This is amazing. I mean, Flower Beauty makes a lot of good products, and I feel like they're starting to get a little more traction. But if you haven't tried this palette yet, add it to your list. You won't be disappointed. There are so many mascaras I like. It was hard to narrow it down to my top 3. I feel like I have 10 favorites. But what I'll do is I'll typically like use a mascara up, and then I won't repurchase it right away, and I might try something different. So I chose 3 that I currently have in my collection right now, but there are other options out there that I really enjoy. Anyway, this year I tried the Milani Highly Rated Anti-Gravity. This has been one of my favorites for sure. It's just such a good all-around mascara. It gives your lashes a ton of length. It also makes them look really voluminous, but it also lifts your lashes and just gives your eyes like a really pretty open look. This is a mascara that I feel like just gets better with time, and as you use it more and more, the formula dries out a little bit and it applies even better. So if you're just looking for like an all-around good mascara, this is the one to try. It gets a ton of hype and it's worth it because it really makes such a difference. It gives me so much length. And then another mascara that I've been using pretty consistently for over a year at this point is the Essence Lash Princess Curl and Volume. This one definitely gives a ton of drama, a lot of volume. I feel like I can get a good amount of length with this as well, but the main reason why I love it is definitely the volume. This one's only $4.99. It's super inexpensive. I love all of the Lash Princess mascaras. And then one that I've loved for years and years is the It Cosmetics Superhero. I think that this is the most dramatic mascara out there. If you can't tell, I have a thing for dramatic mascaras, but whenever I try a mascara and it's just not doing enough for me, like it makes my lashes look kind of natural or I feel like they need extra volume or extra length, I go in with this one and layer it on top and it instantly amps them up. It almost makes it look like I'm wearing false lashes because it really does make them look that dramatic. So finishing up this category with eyeliner, I have one liquid liner and then two pencil liner formulas. My liquid liner favorite is the Urban Decay Perversion. Again, it's been a favorite since, like with all of these products, I keep wanting to say 2016. I feel like 2016 was such a big year for like makeup and makeup releases, but I don't actually know if like a lot of these products came out in 2016. For some reason, I have 2016 in my mind when it comes to the Too Faced Concealer, the Becca Highlighter, this product, the BROWBLADE, but I can't say for sure. If that's the case, I've loved these products for such a long time, but this still remains my favorite liquid liner. It's dark, dramatic, it stays in place really well, and that's all there really is to it. It's a brush tip liner, so it glides on really nicely, and I've gone through a ton of these. They do last a good amount of time, but I just find like nothing quite comes close enough to this. There are a lot of good alternatives and there are drugstore options that I like, but this still remains just a little bit higher than the other ones. There are a lot of pencil liners that I like, but there are two formulas that I probably use the most. The first one is the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner formula. I think they've improved these a lot over the years. I feel like back in the day they used to break really easily, and they do still break on me. I won't say that I don't experience that. If I roll up a little bit too much and I use anything other than like super light pressure, they will break. But I almost feel like they break easily because they're so creamy, and that's why I like them, because as you apply them to the waterline, there's no tugging, there's really no effort involved. They just glide on there and they stay in place so well. I don't typically use these to line like my upper lash line, but you can use them for that purpose too. I love the metallic formula the most because I feel like it just adds a pop. On my waterline today, I have the shade Show Me, which is just like a warm bronze, and there's just something about these. They look so pretty on the eyes. The other formula that I like is this one from LA Girl. These are the Shockwave Metallic Eyeliners. These are a really good alternative to the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencils. So again, I will use these on the waterline. I don't think they're quite as pigmented as the ColourPop ones, but I do think they add like a fun pop of a metallic color, but I love using them on the upper lash line too. I have a really pretty blue-green one. I'll find it so I can swatch it for you. That looks gorgeous on the lid and it stays in place really well, but they're so creamy. So they also glide on really nicely, and these don't break like the ColourPop ones do, so they are a little bit more ideal if you want to create a wing. Okay, let's finish up with lip products. I love lip products so much right now. I probably should have just started the video with lip products, and I could probably do an entire video, like an entire 30-minute video on all of my favorite lip products, but I'll try to keep this a little bit shorter. So I have three categories. I have lip liner, or no, I have four. I have lip liner, lip gloss, lipstick, and then I did like a lip oil, lip serum category. I have three products in that category. Let's just start with that one. Lip oils and lip serums and like lip gloss, lipstick hybrids have been my favorite formulas because you get a gorgeous glossy finish. They're very, very hydrating and they just look so pretty on the lips. So that's really what I've been going for, either that or a lip gloss. I feel like a lot of lip serums, lip oils are pretty much lip glosses, but brands are just calling them different things these days. Let's start with this one. This one is the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serum. I almost put this in the lipstick category because I feel like it is kind of a lipstick, but it's better than a lipstick because it has a really gorgeous glossy finish, a really thin texture that's not uncomfortable to wear. But it also has the hydrating properties of like a lip treatment or a lip balm. It really is the perfect all-in-one lip product. So right now I have the shade Mocha Glow, but I have a couple of other shades, so I'll swatch them for you guys so you can see what they look like. Apricot Glow. Apricot Glow is my favorite. And you guys, I found my original Apricot Glow. I told you I ended up repurchasing it because I lost it and I looked for it for a long time. Like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I checked everywhere in my house and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I ended up repurchasing it, and then literally yesterday I found it. It's right over there. It's in a tray of skincare products. So I don't know how that happened. I swear my husband put it there. He told me he didn't touch it, but I don't think I would have put it in a tray of skincare products. So anyway, you know what? I don't know what I was going to say. I was trying to figure out why it would be among those products, but whatever. Long story short, I found it. And I wish I didn't repurchase the same shade, but honestly, it's something that I wear so much that I feel like I probably will use it up. This is a little bit of like an emollient formula. It's very emollient. So I feel like it is something that you kind of go through a little bit more quickly than a typical lipstick. It's amazing. It is so, so good. So this is my number one in like the lip oil, lip serum category, but I wanted to include these two as well. There's only one true lip oil, and then this one is kind of like an in-between. So let's go with this next. This is from Beauty Pie. It's the Wonder Gloss Collagen Lip Oil Plus. They do call this a lip oil, but I feel like it's also a lip treatment and then also a lip gloss. It kind of combines all three. It has a really pretty thin, soft moisturizing texture to it. It looks amazing on the lips, and I think I like it better than a traditional lip gloss because it doesn't have the same texture as a lip gloss. It definitely has more of like a balmy lip oil feel to it, but you get the shine of a lip gloss. This feels like a very expensive, luxurious formula. It feels so nice on the lips. It's very plush, very luxurious, and it looks so pretty. And then I do have one true lip oil to share with you in today's video. I wear the Milani Fruit Fetish lip oils all the time. They add a little bit more color than other lip oils I've tried, but they're incredibly shiny, so glossy, so comfortable, and they smell really good. I think that's part of the reason why I love them so much. They have like a really strong fruity scent, and they're just really pretty. I love the large doe foot applicator. I honestly have nothing bad to say about these. I think they are the best. They're affordable. I don't think I would ever spend like $30 on a lip oil because honestly, there are so many good affordable options. I have a YouTube Shorts. That sounds weird. A YouTube Short. I have a Shorts video that I uploaded on my channel sharing some of my favorite affordable lip oils under $10 if you guys want to check it out. I think it's like a 30-second video. I'll link it below. Okay, so next let's talk about lip gloss. These are all like traditional lip gloss formulas, whereas the other ones are a little bit thinner, maybe like slightly oily, more serum-like. These are true lip glosses. The formula I've loved the longest is from Buxom. This is their, I always forget the full name, Full-On Plumping Lip Polish, and I have the shade Claire. I am wearing this today on top of a lipstick. I love Buxom's lip glosses so much, and I've always loved them, but I feel like I've really come to appreciate them more over the past year because they just look so smooth, really, really glossy. I think they're a little bit longer lasting than other formulas, and I wouldn't call them sticky, but they're almost like, I don't know, are they a little bit thicker? But not thick in a bad way. Like I feel like when you describe a makeup product as thick, it instantly sounds unappealing. I don't typically want thick makeup products, but the formula is just a little longer lasting. It stays in place well. It does have like that cool tingly feel to it, and I think they look so pretty. So I've been wearing them a lot lately. If they come out with a set during the holidays, I might end up grabbing it because I've really just fallen back in love with the formula. This year I tried the Kaja Gloss Shots, and these have been on my list for a while, and I'm so glad that I did. These are so glossy. They're so pretty. They kind of have like a little bit of a milky color to them, even the darker shades, although they don't have a ton of shade variation. They have a clear, and then they have 3 pink tones, but they all look so pretty, incredibly glossy, super shiny. Again, they're not thick glosses, but I do find that they have like that plush, luxurious feel to them. Like when I think of certain lip products, that is like the only way I can describe them. They feel cushiony on the lips. They're so pretty. They look nice on their own, but also on top of lipstick. They just give you like a true glossy, shiny finish, and I can't get enough of them. And then the other one that I have to mention is, of course, the Fenty Gloss Bombs. I feel like there are so many different options at this point, but I think the Gloss Bomb Heats really are my favorite. They definitely have a little bit more of a sheer finish, but they're very glossy, really, really juicy looking. These have a little bit of like a kick to them. I feel like the Buxom lip glosses have like a cooling effect. These have like a warm effect. I think I prefer the cooling effect, but I do think these make your lips look super smooth, a little bit bigger because they are so shiny, incredibly glossy. They're not quite as long lasting as the other two that I just mentioned, and these days I have definitely come to appreciate like a slightly longer lasting lip gloss, one that I don't have to apply like every 20 minutes, but I do love these so much. I think they come out with really gorgeous colors. So let me finish up with lip liner and lipstick. There are 3 lip liner formulas I wanted to share in today's video. My number one favorite is the ColourPop Lippie Pencils. I have one in every shade because ColourPop typically does those sets where they'll have like 10 nudes or 20 nudes, or they'll have like an entire box of lip liners during the holidays. And I don't typically buy like such large amounts of one product, but because I love the ColourPop Lippie Pencils so much, I got one of those maybe like last year or the year before, and I wear them all the time. It's nice to have a lip liner in every shade that I would need in a formula that I love. This really is my favorite because it glides on nicely. Like, it's definitely a creamy formula, but it dries down and it stays in place really, really well. So whether I'm wearing these on their own, or I'm wearing them under like a lip gloss or a lipstick, I just love them, and they have really beautiful colors. They have such a big range of nudes. I also love this formula from About Face. These are the Matte Fixed Lip Pencils. These are matte lip liners. Like, they're very creamy as you apply them, but they dry down so fast, and they are incredibly long lasting. Like, if you were to take your finger and try to smudge it, let me just try. I just swatched it on my hand. I'll give it a second to dry down, but it's so creamy, incredibly pigmented, and that's why I like these, because as you're lining your lips, it's not hard to use. Like, sometimes with lip pencils, it feels like you're dragging it across the lips. I've actually cut my lip using a pencil liner in the past because it was so dry and hard to work with. That doesn't happen with this formula. Okay, I gave it a second to dry down. Like, I am rubbing this product, and it moved a little bit because I'm actually applying a good amount of pressure, and it stays in place. Like, I've been sitting here trying to smudge it, and it really is like the most long-lasting formula. So I'm telling you, if you wanted a lip liner that lasts all day long, this is the one to try. And then the third formula I wanted to share with you is from LA Girl. These are the Shockwave Nude Lip Liners. I really like these. They're very similar to the eyeliners that I mentioned earlier. They're really creamy, really comfortable to wear. These are not quite as long-lasting as ColourPop or About Face, but they're really smooth. So if you prefer more of a smooth, creamy formula and you don't necessarily need it to dry down and lock into place all day long, then this is a really good option to try, and I think these are just under $5. Finishing up with lipstick, I have 3 lipsticks I wanted to share with you. The formula I probably wear the most, and the shade that I probably wear the most, is the Buxom Full Force Plumping Lipstick in the shade Fly Girl. This is a really nice formula. It's very smooth, really, really creamy, and I think these actually have like a little bit of a plumping property to them, just like the Buxom lip glosses, so they just look very smooth on the lips. They have a little bit of a glossy sheen, which I love, or I guess I should say more of a satin sheen, which I think is just really, really flattering, and they have a bunch of beautiful colors to choose from, but Fly Girl is my favorite. ColourPop released these glowing lips a few months ago, and I love them. I wear them a lot. I would say it's probably my most worn like actual lipstick product, and I don't know if you could even, yeah, I mean, I guess I would describe them as a lipstick. I feel like they're glossy lipsticks. They're incredibly smooth, very creamy, and again, just really emollient, so not like your typical regular lipstick. They're really comfortable to wear. So on days where I want a little more color, but I still want like that really pretty glossy sheen, then I reach for these. The last lipstick formula I wanted to share is from Too Faced. These are the Lady Bold lipsticks. So this one's in the color I'm Thriving. This is probably the most pigmented lipstick I have in my collection right now. And again, super creamy, very, very comfortable, not long lasting by any means. This is more of like a true traditional lipstick formula, but it's really comfortable to wear. So if you're looking for a comfortable cream lipstick with a ton of pigment, something that feels really moisturizing on the lips, this is a great option, and the packaging is really beautiful too. Okay guys, that is everything I wanted to share with you in today's video. I'm sure this was a long video because I talked about a lot of products. I'll link everything that I mentioned in the description box below, but I would love to hear from you. I would love to know what are your top favorites in these different categories. I know that can be a really long comment, so even if you just want to share like your top product or a couple of your favorites, I would love to know. I truly read all of my comments and I write down a ton of your suggestions, pretty much all of them, because you guys leave a lot of amazing product recommendations. I always screenshot them and then save them in a folder on my phone, or I'll actually just go directly to the website and add it to my cart or my loves list. So let me know which products are at the top of your list, and I will see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye.